You're welcome to today's episode of The Human Angle. On today's episode, we'll be discussing motherhood, the pressures and the pleasures. And the truth is, motherhood is not a we like to say, it's very interesting actually, but it's not a very happy time because we have experiences where a lot of mothers mention the fact that they go through a lot of pressures. And throughout this week, we've been going through raising a baby. But in raising a baby, it's beyond the mother. It's more of the parents coming together and ensuring that their child becomes someone they want to be in life. Raising a baby doesn't just have to do with your emotional state or your mental state. It also contributes financially to how you can raise that child. So if you are not financially ready to raise a child, then really there's no point going into it. Also, in raising a child, you have to be spiritually alert. You have to be spiritually prepared. You have to be mentally prepared. You have to be emotionally prepared in all areas, because truth about it is you are raising a child, you're raising children, you're raising a baby into the world, and whatever you put into them shapes them into who they become. Today, as I said, we are going to be looking at raising a baby and how motherhood goes through in raising the child. But in the nexus between motherly love and parental planning, the pleasures and motherhood are typically mixed with its concerns, anxiety and pressure. And an effective support system is critical to new couples coping with the sudden challenges posed by a new baby in the family. Work schedules get disrupted, sleep gets banished, and the general care and attention for the baby shifts intimacy between the man and woman. These periods in a marriage require careful organization and commitment to a program to avoid irritation, disputes, and discord. And the management of support system is vital to the stability of a young family, and this assists young couples in getting a hold of the issues and arranging schedules that could prove effective in qualifying the common frustrations and irritations that accompany the unexpected disorganization of plans that come with parenting. Whether mothers are stay-at-home moms or working moms, the challenges remain and must be attended to quickly and efficiently. Even in the case of single moms, the birth of a child is a mixture of pleasure and pain and requires support systems that help the mother cope with the numerous matters that guarantee that the child grows up healthy and safe as well. Today we'll be discussing dealing the pressures and pleasures of motherhood and ways to develop and manage an effective support system from raising a baby, from the ProShare Raising a Baby report. Now, having an effective support system, irrespective of being a full-time mom or a working mom, is very critical to having a balanced life as a mother. A support system is a social network which comprises of both formal and informal relationships. Informal supports are those who are close relations to you, such as your members of your family, friends, acquaintances, neighbors, and other people within your community, while formal supports refer to systems provided by professionals like domestic helps, schools such as daycare and after-school services, and other public systems like churches, mosques, clubs, and other social groups. From a financial perspective, informal supports are most times freely given, thereby making them cost-effective and to a large extent secure. For instance, in Nigeria, many are generally saddled with the responsibility of caring for one relative or the other, be it the parents, grandparents, or siblings. Therefore, costs can be reduced since one can replace the amount spent on a domestic help with the financial support given by our relatives. This may not be the case for all because some may not have family members around to help and adopt these formal systems. However, the benefits of having an effective and sustainable support system cannot be overemphasized because of the tremendous impact it has had over the years on shaping our children's lives and serving as a source of guidance through the journey of raising a baby. Most importantly, effective support helps reduce the spread of raising a child and provide security to a large extent. Regardless of the numerous benefits that are bound in having an effective support system, the responsibility of raising one's child cannot be entirely delegated, and spouses need to have in-depth communications and conversations with one another about the systems they wish to adopt because of the impact the systems have in forming the foundation of children. Some key questions to answer while considering the support system to adopt will be, do you have family members you can trust with your children? Will they have to live with you? Are they within your neighborhood? Also, are they willing to accommodate your children, that is your relatives, in your absence? What affordable location do you reside in to attract the type of neighbors you need? What's the level of relationship you would have with your neighbors, and how can you cultivate one if you don't have one at the moment? Also, another question will be, what social institutions like the mosques, the churches, clubs, can you associate yourselves with that will be supportive to you in the long run? What kind of school can you afford, and what's the nature of the services they provide, like after-school services for you? Do you need a domestic sometimes in a week? How old should this person be? Professional channels. Also, if your workplace allows flexible workers, or if you would need to solicit for one. And also, if you need to stop work as the mother to cater for the children. Another question would be, how do you balance your financial income if one party has to stay at home? And also, if you can be involved in other activities despite having to stay at home fully, if that is what you decide. The truth is, these questions and more are critical to enable one determine the most convenient support system to adopt. Regardless, one can strike a balance between both systems rather than leaning on one entirely. It's also crucial to note that good relationships are important to having an effective support system, whether it's informal or formal. And to cultivate a sound support system, you can explore various options, such as number one will be meeting people. The truth is, no man is an island. We all need support from people around us through this journey of life. Often it's said that our network determines our net worth, and similarly, the network of people we have around us and how we are able to cultivate them determines the level of support we get from them. In the various aspects of our lives, we should not take life too serious to the extent that we isolate ourselves from others. We need to be free to meet people, share experiences, learn, and support one another. Also, you need to get involved. The volunteering and participating in activities around community and other social institutions bid for same. Another way would be to offer support as well. Don't wait for others be sometimes shy away like it doesn't really matter. This should not be the case. We should be ready to offer support to our community and any social institution we belong to. Social supports come in handy in times of need. And before you need that support, start cultivating them and nurturing the relationship you already have today. Decision to be a stay-at-home mom or continue work after the birth of your child is usually a difficult call to make also, and depends on numerous factors that need to be thought through before conclusion. In making the decision as well, it should be collectively agreed with your spouse. The most important thing is to have a supportive spouse and ensure to strike a balance between your work life and your life at home. For first-time moms, try and give yourself a chance to be human. It's easy to get overwhelmed by the mommy guilt or the feeling of not being enough for your baby. There's no point rushing to report to a sleek shape or slaying manner immediately after having a baby or worrying about doing everything alone. While it can be sometimes overwhelming dealing with the pressures of raising a child, you should not be afraid to grow your career as well and seek senior positions as a working mom, while stay-at-home moms should not also be focused on the child care alone and beyond the house chores to do other productive things when the child or children are in school. The truth is, there are quite a number of stay-at-home moms. The most important thing is to strike a balance, and some ways you can ensure balance in your chosen career and at your home as well will be to communicate your desires. Communication is key in every relationship, and it's necessary to make known what your passions and career progressions are with your spouse while you court one another. Don't wait till when you're married to have this conversation about your career and what you would like to become for those who are not yet married. Some men actually prefer to have stay-at-home moms while others prefer working moms. But whatever the case is, start the conversation early. Understand his preference so you can adjust to same accordingly, or even end the relationship if you can't agree, rather than get married and then end up being miserable. Another option would be to get your spouse involved. The truth is, mothers are caregivers, accepted facts, and may be quite versatile in nurturing a child or children and managing the home. However, this should not preclude fathers' involvement in activities like this. As a woman with respect and appropriate means of communication, not Emotional blackmail. Encourage your husband to do things that he would ordinarily consider your tax. It's important to know that in getting your husband involved, you have to be very careful because most men were not brought up to handle house chores, so it should not be a forced attempt. For instance, you can split caring for the child or children and doing your monthly shopping amongst yourselves. Daddy can handle the child while mommy goes shopping or vice versa. Thankfully, with digital platforms, you can also make orders online if you are not buoyant enough to pay for those extras from online sales. Delegate and stop trying to do it all. And the truth is, you'll be surprised that your husband actually wants this for you if only you can ask. Lastly, will be to not be afraid to take a break. It's okay to be ambitious as a woman and not be afraid to attain high levels at various places of work or through your entrepreneurial journey. In the same vein, we should not be afraid to take a break from work, take a nap, go to the spa, or go on vacations with family and friends and spend quality time with spouses. Before work is family, and after work it would always be family. If you break down, all of the things go on while you're unavailable or incapable to do those things. As much as you prioritize other things, also prioritize your health. Be selfless, but don't neglect yourself. As I earlier mentioned, fathers are the first support you have as a mother, and it's critical to get his buy-in and talk through whatever decision you both seek to make, as this would be very important to reducing the stress being faced with when having to deal with your child or children's welfare as a mother. According to Claire Hurwitz of the Time magazine, motherhood in the connected era doesn't have to be dominated by any myth. Social media can just as easily help celebrate our individual experience and create community through contrast. Moms have to stick together even as we walk our separate paths. We have to spot the templates and realize there are no templates. We have to talk about our failures and realize that there are no failures actually. And that brings me to this end of today's episode of The Human Angle. You could send in your videos, pictures, questions, and comments if you have any to programs@poshareng.com and business@poshareng.com. Visit our website, www.poshareng.com, to get more information on our personal finance, the Raising a Baby report, and updates from our news stories and videos. You can also follow us on our social media platforms, showing on the screen for further updates on our market reports. Don't forget to keep it a date with us tomorrow as we'll be discussing financing the birth and care of your child. Till then, thank you for watching and bye for now.